Guys, today I'm filming my single shadows of the month video for July. If you guys have never seen one of my single shadow or palette of the month videos, I'll have my playlist linked down below. And I had gotten the idea for a palette of the month video from my friend Amanda Alexander. 2 years back on Amanda's Instagram, she had been doing palette of the week, and then at the end of the year she did a video roundup giving you her thoughts on all the palettes that she tested. So I will have Amanda's channel and that video linked down below, and it really inspired me that I wanted to pull out my palettes and try to get some better use out of them. So in the year of 2016 I did do several palette of the month, but I decided that I wanted to continue doing that without neglecting my single shadows. So for 2017, I've been switching back and forth between doing palette of the month and single shadow of the month videos, and this one is going to be a single shadow of the month. So the way that I format these videos is showing you the shadows, giving you color descriptions, either from the brand website or from Temptalia, and then I will show you guys swatches and I will give you dupes. All of my dupes come from Temptalia.com. Christine has a very amazing blog. She's very dedicated, really hardworking, and that website is an amazing resource if you're looking for dupe swatches and reviews. So I would recommend Christine's blog in general, and I will have that link down below. And as I said, that is where I'm getting all of my dupe pictures from. I will show you all the looks I created with these shadows, and then I will review the formula, texture, and pigmentation. So this month I have this little small baby Z palette filled up with all of my single shadows of the month. This is so pretty to look at. I think it is so beautiful, just perfect summer singles, and all of these shadows are in my palette of the month except for Anastasia Birkin. I've already talked about that so much in other videos. It's an amazing warm peachy transition color, but all the rest of these shadows are part of the single shadows of the month. I have 5 different shadows from MAC and 3 eyeshadows from Makeup Geek. MAC Woodwinked is described as a warm antique gold, and it has a Velux pearl finish. Here's a swatch of MAC Woodwinked. MAC Amber Lights is described as a peachy brown with shimmer, and this has a frost finish. Here's a swatch of MAC Amber Lights. MAC Sumptuous Olive is described as a khaki with pearl, and this has a Velux pearl finish. Here's a swatch of MAC Sumptuous Olive. MAC Soft Brown is described as a soft golden peachy brown, and it has a matte finish. Here's a swatch of MAC Soft Brown. MAC Brown Script is described as a warm chestnut brown, and it has a matte squared finish. Here's a swatch of MAC Brown Script. Makeup Geek Pegasus is described as a cool aqua, and this has a foiled finish. Here's a swatch of Makeup Geek Pegasus. Makeup Geek Dragonfly is described as a neutral teal, and it has a matte finish. Here's a swatch of Makeup Geek Dragonfly. Makeup Geek Shark Bait is described as a cool teal, and it has a matte finish. Here is a swatch of Makeup Geek Shark Bait. So now I will show you the details of all of the looks I created using these single shadows. Here is today's look. Use my single shadows of the month. As a base on my lid, I'm using the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Caramel Cool. On my lid, I'm wearing MAC Woodwinked. For my transition color, I'm using MAC Soft Brown. For my crease color, I'm using MAC Brown Script. Here what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the MAC Blush in Hipness. On my lips, I'm wearing the ColourPop Ultra Satin Lip in Molly. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. As a base on my lid, I'm using the Milani Shadow Eyes Pencil in Golden Bronze. On my lid, over top of that base, I'm using MAC Amber Lights. For my transition color, I'm using MAC Soft Brown. For my crease color, I use MAC Brown Script. Here are what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the Makeup Geek blush in XOXO. On my lips, I'm wearing the MAC Sheen Supreme lipstick in the shade Pleasurefruit. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. As a base on my lid, I'm using the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Mossy Green, which was limited edition. On my lid, I am wearing MAC Sumptuous Olive. For my transition color, I am wearing MAC Soft Brown. For my crease color, I'm wearing MAC Brown Script. Here are what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing theBalm's Hot Mama Blush. On my lips, I'm wearing the Clinique Long Last Soft Matte Lipstick in the shade Matte Beauty. Here's today's look using my single shadows of the month. On my lid, I'm wearing Makeup Geek Dragonfly. For my transition color, I'm using MAC Soft Brown. For my crease color, I'm using MAC Brown Script. Here are what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the MAC blush in Sweet Sweet Fantasy from the Mariah Carey collection. On my lips, I'm wearing the ColourPop in I Love Sadaki lip gloss in the shade Curvy. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. On my lid, I used Makeup Geek Shark Bait. For my transition color, I used Anastasia Birkin. For my crease color, I used Anastasia Bengal. Here are what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing theBalm's Hot Mama Blush. On my lips, I'm wearing the CoverGirl and Katy Perry Kitty Cat Matte Lipstick in the shade Sphinx. Here is today's look using my single shadows of the month. On my lid, I'm wearing the Makeup Geek Foiled Shadow in Pegasus. For my transition color, I used Anastasia Birkin. For my crease color, I mixed two colors from the ColourPop Yes Please palette. I used the shade Note to Self, which is also available in a single, as well as the shade GNO. Here are what the eyes look like up close. On my cheeks, I'm wearing the MAC blush from the Mariah Carey collection in the shade Sweet Sweet Fantasy. On my lips, I'm wearing a combination of a jumbo lip crayon and a lip gloss. I filled in my lips completely with the Tarte Matte Lip Surgeons in the shade Exposed. And I went over top of that with the Buxom Full On Lip Polish in Sandy. So now to talk about the formula, texture, and pigmentation of all of these shadows. Starting with my MAC shadows. As you guys saw on the look portion, I did create 3 different looks using these 5 MAC single shadows. I wore Woodwinked Amber Lights and Sumptuous Olive on my lid, and every single time I paired them with Soft Brown as my transition color and Brown Script as my crease color. Because all 5 of these shades are very warm, the crease and transition pair perfectly with each of them, and I think it just worked really well to define my crease, and it didn't look too red or too orange. I really love the tones of these matte browns. I think they work really well with these 3 shadows, and not all warm brownie tans are the same. If you guys watched last month's palette of the month, I was absolutely in love with Anastasia Bengal and Birkin as my transition crease color, and while I think those could have worked with these MAC shades, I really think that Soft Brown and Brown Script just worked perfectly with them. And I know that a lot of people don't love MAC shadows, but I absolutely do. And I know I've talked to you guys about it a couple of different times, but for both the shadows and the blushes, I think that the formula feels very different from the compacts to the pan form. The compact form can be a little bit stiffer and you really just have to work to get that pigmentation, but in the pan form, they seem a lot more creamy to the touch and easier to pick up on a brush. I find that they all perform pretty much the same, but it's just that initial texture that's a little bit different. And these MAC shadows are all very pigmented, but with all of these shimmery shades for the lid, I did find that I needed to build them up. For me, that is not a big deal at all, because I would rather have to build them up just a little bit than have a bunch of fallout or have it just look too muddy. I really enjoy the formula of MAC shadows, even though they are a little bit more tightly pressed. So I love the MAC shimmery shades on the lid, and even though Amber Lights is a frost and the other two are Volux Pearls, I find that they are very similar in pigmentation and the amount of shine that they give. What I've seen from Volux Pearls shadows is that they just have a little bit of an extra effect to them. Sumptuous Olive is an olive eyeshadow that flashes gold, and Woodwinked is a bronze shadow that flashes a little bit of gold as well. And same with the other Volux Pearls I have. There's just like a little bit something special about the way that they look. But overall, I feel like they perform the same and they have the same amount of sheen on the eye as the frost finishes do. So with all of my eye looks, unless I'm using a ColourPop Super Shock shadow, I do put down a cream base underneath of my lid color. And I definitely think that is something you probably need to do with these MAC shades just to make them even more intense, to really make the color vibrant and the metallic sheen to show up even more intense. I would recommend using a base with these MAC shimmer shadows. And then for these two matte shades, Soft Brown and Brown Script. Soft Brown is a matte finish and Brown Script is a matte squared. There are only a few shades that are matte squared finishes, which is a bummer because they both perform very similarly, but a matte squared finish is just a lot more buttery. But I find that these both are actually very pigmented and they blend really nicely. And I would much rather have shadows like these mattes that are a little bit more on the dry side than shadows that are too creamy and they end up over blending and looking muddy. I have no trouble at all working with these shades, and they definitely do not look patchy on my eye at all or too dry. They just worked perfectly. So I recommend all 5 of those shadows. I think they perform really well. They all go very well together, and I was extremely happy with all of the looks I created with them. So I just kind of lumped all the MAC shadows in there as a whole because I have similar feelings on them, but I do have different feelings on the formula of these Makeup Geek shadows. Starting with Makeup Geek Pegasus, this is one of their foiled shadows. The foiled shadows do cost more than the regular shades. The regular shadows are $6, the foils are $10, and that is pretty pricey for a single shadow. But the formula is so good because these are very buttery and creamy to the touch. They are incredibly pigmented with one swipe. I don't feel like I need to layer these, and it has a beautiful metallic sheen to them. They are not any kind of a dull satin at all. They are very metallic, very shimmery, and the color just popped on my eye. It really stood out, and it was so easy to work with. With some shimmer shadows, I find that I need to apply a layer with my finger to really make them intense. With this foiled shadow, I just applied it with a brush and it looked fantastic. I didn't need to take my finger to pack on extra color. So the formula of these foiled shadows I think are absolutely fantastic, and I really love this color as well. I thought it was very pretty, a beautiful bright pop of color on the lid. So love this formula and this color as well. I would definitely recommend this one and any of the other Makeup Geek foiled shadows. I have heard that these do crease really badly on some people. I have very oily lids and I don't find that the foiled shadows crease on me. And lastly, we have 2 mattes from Makeup Geek, Dragonfly and Shark Bait. Talia described both of these as a teal. She said Dragonfly was a neutral teal and Shark Bait was a cool teal, and I definitely do agree, but as you guys can see, these are very different. Dragonfly is a lot more green while Shark Bait is a lot more blue. So these are definitely 2 distinctively different colors, so you can justify owning both in your collection. I definitely think of this as a green shadow and this as a blue shadow. So the formula of these is quite different. I think Makeup Geek released Shark Bait in some summer collection a while back, and then she released Dragonfly when she had released a bunch of matte shadows a little while back. This is a really nice teal color, and these shadows can sometimes be hard to formulate and get them to be very pigmented and intense without being chalky, and I think that this performs super well. That is what a little swatch of it looks like. It performed well. There is no patchiness. It isn't sheer at all. I was able to pack this shadow on my lid quite easily. As a base, I did use the Milani Shadow Eyes pencil in Snowy White. You could also use NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. It's just a matte white base to really help this color stay true to color, since I was putting it on the lid, and that did definitely help a lot. So I would recommend that when using Dragonfly or Sharkbait. I did that with both of these, the matte white base, to make them show as true to color. Now I haven't tried using this in the crease to see how it would blend out that way, but on the lid this performed very, very well. It was very pigmented, not patchy, not sheer, as I said, so I definitely do recommend that shade if you are looking for some kind of a green. And this isn't like a bright neon green. I think this is definitely something that you will be able to incorporate into other looks. And lastly, we have Sharkbait, and again, these really deep, dark teals can be hard to formulate, and this one was definitely patchy. This is 2 layers right here, and it looks kind of messy. And when I was applying this, I had pieces kind of crumble off, and I did have fallout on my face. And I did not have that problem with Dragonfly, but with Sharkbait, I did. The formula of this one just isn't as good, and packing it on my lid over that base and going in with a couple layers did work, but I had to go in a few times because it was looking a little bit patchy and uneven. The color was, it wasn't looking like the same shade over my entire lid. And I did not use this one in my crease, but I would be nervous about it that as I'm blending, it's gonna get patchy and sheer in a couple different spots. So if you guys have used Sharkbait, let me know how it works for you. Maybe this is a color that would be best on the lid or really concentrated in the outer corner, but I did not have a problem with the formula of any of these shadows except for Sharkbait, and I wouldn't give it like an F or anything, but it definitely would not get higher than a C grade from me. It's just a little disappointing, but I was able to make it work, and it is a really pretty shade. So I would say A++ on all of these shadows, minus Makeup Geek Sharkbait. So I would love to know your all's opinions if you guys have tried these shadows, and please let me know what ways that you guys wear them. I really, really do appreciate whenever you guys give me that feedback. I find it incredibly helpful because I'm not that creative when it comes to putting together different shadows to create a look. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.